Welcome back to the desk. Let's go ahead and get through the deck profile real quick. We're going to go ahead and start with more of the engine pieces, starting out with by far the best card in the deck, Gazelle, 3 Foxy, the non-Salamangreat normal summons, 3 Flame Buffalo, and 1 Lady Debug. We have 3 Salamangreat Spinny, 2 Jaguar, 1 Falco, and 1 Foul. And then for the last of the non-engine monsters that aren't exactly hand traps, we're playing 3 Microcoder. I considered playing the Signet Conflict as an alternative search target off of Microcoder, but I think that just having the Signet Mining is enough. Let's go ahead and go on to the engine-specific spells. We'll do 3 Salamangreat Circle, 2 Will of the Salamangreat, 1 Sanctuary, and 3 Signet Mining. And lastly, the 2 traps, the counter trap Roar and the normal trap Rage. Let's go ahead and go on to the non-engine stuff. I'm main decking 3 Nibiru, 3 Ash, and 3 Imperm. There's an argument to be made to maybe swap these out for board breakers or different hand traps. I could maybe replace either the Imperm or the Nibiru with DD Crow. But I think that these hit the most things, and I think that at a locals where it's relatively casual, I think that I want to cover more ground. And lastly, 2 non-engine spells, the Forbidden Droplet and the Called by the Grave. I only have 1 Forbidden Droplet. I have 2 more coming in the mail, but for now we're just going to play it as a Saki one of, see how many people we can get with it. And let's go ahead and move on to the extra deck. We're playing 3 Bale Links, 3 Sunlight Wolf. I considered playing 2 Heatleo, but I found that the extra deck was so tight. I wanted certain options in the extra deck that running the Heatleos just didn't allow me to have. And then for the last of the Salamangreat extra deck monsters, we're playing 1 Mirage Stalio. Now on to some more of the utility cards. Splash Mage, which represents any 2 materials turning into an access code talker. There's Update Jammer, which allows access code talker to attack twice. There's IP Masquerena, which can either be interruption or it can help make some of our bosses a little bit more protected. There's Phoenix, Unicorn, and then there's Transcode, which with the Splash Mage makes any 2 Cyberse materials into Access Code Talker. Speaking of, there's Access Code Talker. And then lastly, the only non-Salamangreat Xyz, the Abyss Dweller. Now let's go ahead and talk about the side deck. This is a little tailored for my meta, but also just kind of what I had on hand. We've got 3 Dark Ruler. We've got 3 Evenly Matched Mind Control and 1 Change of Heart. All of this for going second. And then a little bit of going second back row hate. We've got the Singular Feather Duster, 3 Cosmic Cyclone. And then lastly, the only card I'm siding for going first, that's Anti-Spell. This is extremely powerful. I can definitely see this card getting hit at some point. I think that because of just how powerful the Salamangreat engine is, I can afford to play certain cards in the side deck like Anti-Spell and just side them in over certain hand traps that aren't good in certain matchups and just hope for the best. So I expect to do decently well. We'll have to see how it goes. It's going to be my first time back after over a month of not going to tournaments. Actually, it's going to be pretty close to exactly a month of not going to tournaments. But for now, we're just going to focus on doing well and hopefully winning some prizes.
Oh wow. Nice card.
I'll show you how to do it.
What? They're backwards.
Yeah.
Whoa. Neko Main King. That's terrible. Standing over here amongst the figurines, just finished round 1. I was supposed to get the buy, but we ended up getting another person so that we didn't have an odd number of people. So I played against a kid that has been on here before. He was playing like a pendulum pile thing. He was playing a bunch of Performa pals that he could just find in the bulk bins. I didn't record the match because I figured it wasn't going to be that big of a deal, but, you know, On to round 2. Just got done with the tournament, just finished round 3. I'm going to try and go back and recap the rounds. I got rounds 2 and 3 recorded. Both of them went pretty close to time. I think the first one got close and the second one went to time. But either way, round 2, I played against the same branded Despia Predaplant player that I played against in the Pendulum episode where I had the footage. You can check out the full footage of the match on my channel. I uploaded it a while ago. Game 1, go first, and he has Ash Imperm, and I had just the right hand where shotgunning both the Ash and the Imperm just completely ended my turn. I had nothing to do. I tried to play it out, but eventually I just had to concede the match. I probably should have scooped earlier, but you know how it is. Game 2, I chose to go first, and I side in anti-spell, but I don't see it. But I end on the counter trap, which I figured was better against branded. What's up, guys? Basement Zach here. Going back over the footage of the match, and I remember this all wrong. I said that I ended on Sunlight Wolf and Transcode Talker co-linked with Roar and a Imperm set and an Ash in hand. What I actually ended on was a co-link or a relinked Sunlight Wolf and Abyss Dweller, which ended up putting in a ton of work in this game. He found himself really struggling to play around the Abyss Dweller. He couldn't play through both the Abyss Dweller and the counter trap. He was able to make some plays beyond that, but in the end, he just couldn't deal with all of that. And so we take game 2. Game 3, he chose to go first, and he bricked pretty bad. He sets 3, activates the Bufo Pendulum Predaplant, and passes turn. I sided in 1 copy of Evenly Matched, and I end up drawing it. I have to make a decision because if the back row are real, which they ended up kind of being real, then not evenly matching was going to lose me the game. But if the back row isn't real, then I can just win the game on the spot. I chose to not gamble, and I evenly matched him. And then from that point, I just have to start comboing off because I think after I evenly matched him, we had 2.5 minutes left in game 3, and we were tied on life. So I just start comboing off, waiting for the timer to tick down. Eventually, time gets called, and I end on Rage and Roar and transcode a relinked Sunlight Wolf, and then I think like an errant Salamangreat on the field. I pass turn to him. All he has on field is Danger Nessie, and he top decks a Luber, but I negate it with the counter trap, and he ends up having to pass turn. Access code OTKM, and that's round 2. So going into round 3, I'm undefeated. I go up against the guy who normally plays Cyber Dragon, but today he's playing Utopia. But for some reason, he doesn't have access to double or nothing, so he can't actually go into a lot of the powerful Utopia plays because his Utopia double is dead. I think I have a double or nothing that I could have given him, but I didn't realize it until after the tournament started. Game 1, he chooses to go second, which seems kind of silly. I feel like Utopia should go first, but if you don't have double or nothing, I guess you got to rely on OTKing. I set up a normal board. It's Sunlight Wolf relinked with the Rage, and I had 2 Ash in hand. He goes Tin Goldfish, summon Goblinberg, goes into Utopia, and he activates the rank up to go into Utopia Ray V, and the rank up negates everything on the field. But that ends up not mattering because it only negates face-ups, and I have 2 face-down cards. I activate the Rage. He has 2 back row. He goes to pass turn to me because I protected my Sunlight Wolf with the Balinks, which ended up making it where the effect to burn me didn't fully resolve. So I ended up not taking the burn damage, which was nice. And then I was able to access code OTK him. Game 2, he again chooses to go second. I don't know what his thing is. So I set up my board again. I believe this time I ended on Transcode and Sunlight Wolf, and I chose to get the counter trap this time. Or no, I still went for the Rage. And I believe I hard drew my one of Forbidden Droplet. He goes for ZS Ascended Sage and ZS something else Sage. One of them searches a rank up and the other searches something else. And I thought about asking what his chain order was and then ashing whatever the most recent chain was until I realized that the two sages give his Utopia those effects. So if I activate Forbidden Droplet and negate his Xyz, both effects will be negated. I had to call a judge over, and he sided with me. And then on my turn, I top deck the circle. So I search Spinny, I normal Spinny, use it to summon Bailings, bring it back, go into Update Jammer and Transcode, make access code. And then we have an argument because he has Twin Pegasus attached to his Ray V, which lets him negate something. And I do Chainlink 1, Update Jammer, Chainlink 2 access code, and he tries to negate it with his Twin Pegasus. The judge has to come over, and I end up explaining to the judge how unclassified effects work. He ends up having to look it up just to make sure that I'm correct. Then he rules in my favor. He can't negate the access code, and he can't negate any of access code's effects. So I banish the transcode, pop his Utopia. My access code's at 5300 that can attack twice. So I win 2-0 against Utopia, which means we went undefeated with Salamangreat. This is now the second episode of Decksploration where we've gone undefeated. And honestly, it feels really good after the Pendulum episode because I felt pretty down after the Pendulum episode, but I feel really good right now. You'll see in the clip that I didn't pull anything from the OTS packs, which is fine. A guy who was brand new, never seen him before, he was playing Blue Eyes, so I ended up not playing him because he lost all of his rounds. He pulled Ulti Reaper, Ghost Reaper from his pack because they had OTS 20. I ended up selling a bunch of cards to the store for store credit and bought a playset of Souls and a playset of Lightning Storm. So that's pretty pog. We're going to have access to those later. Hopefully between now and the next episode, I can get my life together and we can get access to some Dark Magician cards because I really want to do a Dark Magician episode. But with that being said, I'm really happy about today. I really hope this video turns out well, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. What's up, guys? Unkempt Beard Zach here. So it's been a few days since the tournament. I figured I might as well tack this on to the end. You know, I wanted to be able to show some of this stuff off and maybe give a little bit of a spoiler for some places we might be going in the near future. But it's mail day. So I ordered some cards not too long ago. I think I ordered the remainder of my playset of, that's not a card, droplets, like I mentioned in the video. And I also ordered another deck core, one from Magnificent Mavens, which may very easily give away what it is. Again, with the not being cards. Quite a few of those things I had pulled out weren't actually cards. So I've gotten it down to just the stuff that's actual cards. We'll go ahead and start with the obvious. Here's one of my droplets. Let's go ahead and cut out this bad boy. Oh, yeah. So some of these cards were gotten just as part of trying to take advantage of the pre-sale deals for Magnificent Mavens, namely the deck core. The rest of it was part of my birthday. I used some of my birthday money. Shout out to Refined Gaming, I guess. Oh yeah, there we go. So that completes my playset. I could have gotten them cheaper if I had gone with the Ultra Prints, but I really wanted my set to all be the same rarity, and I did not feel like getting rid of my secret. And I just think they're good. Oh, spoilers. We picked up some stuff to finish off the core. What's exceptionally frustrating is that I had no copies of Heavenly Dragon Circle, and I ordered 3, and then someone at Locals pulled one from a Ghost from the Past 2 box and just gave it to me. I told him I didn't need it, but he insisted on giving it to me since I said that I wanted it. And now, on to the main event. Ooh, they packaged this thing up real good. Holy guacamole. Let's cut her open. Take out the goods. So this is a deck that I missed out on playing when it was meta, and I'm really excited to be able to pick it up. Yep, that's right. I picked up a Sword Soul core. Everything I needed, including the Ecclesias, which back when this deck was actually meta, this card was like a $50 card. Ooh, Evil Longwan. All the good stuff. So I still have Baxias coming. I have the 3rd circle, even though technically I kind of already have the 3rd one. I believe that's it. I believe I should only have one more package coming. But yeah, I'm looking towards maybe playing Sword Soul at some point in the near future. And I think that picking up the core was an exceptionally good investment, because for all this big stack I got for $35, which is absolutely incredible considering, you know, like I said, back when this deck was actually like meta, the Ecclesias alone, a single copy of Ecclesia was more than that. So I'm excited. Droplet set complete. We're about to get to the point where I have everything I need for Sword Soul. That's probably not going to be what I play for the next episode. Let me go ahead and show off some of the stuff that I got in the last episode. So I brought a bunch of my first edition secret rare stuff that I had in my binders. I had a first ed original print Boral Sword, original print Avermax. I had a bunch of dangers, and I went ahead and I picked up an extremely mismatched set of Magician's Souls. The guy at the shop gave me a great deal on these. And then I picked up a set of King's Court Lightning Storm. I very easily could have waited and gotten the Magnificent Mavens set for less, but the thing is that the shop didn't have the Mavens, and they give 75% of the value of the cards in store credit if you sell them, but they only give 50% if you take cash. So the amount I would have saved trying to buy the cheaper Lightning Storms, I also would have lost that money if I had taken the money as cash to try and use towards buying these cards somewhere else. Not to mention, it's a lot easier to do it this way than to, you know, put the money in my account and then try and convince my wife that it's a good idea to spend $114 on these cards, as opposed to just handing the guy at the store a stack of expensive cards and saying, how much can I spend at your store for if I sell you this? So that's all the good stuff. One thing I will say is that the 2 decks that I'm eyeing for future episodes as a result of getting all of this, I sold my souls. I sold my souls a while ago because money was tight. But I realized that I really wanted to play Dark Magician for this series sooner rather than later. So I think in the near future, probably within the next few months maybe, depending on if Illusion of Chaos gets a reprint, or if I somehow come into a bunch of money and I could buy Illusion of Chaos, and if Baron gets a reprint, or if I just come into a bunch of money and I could buy a Baron, these 2 decks may be on the table. I'd really like to wait and be able to play Sword Soul with the Baron. Ideally, I'd like to, find somebody who has one that's willing to do a trade. But for now, I think I'm going to focus on some of the decks that I already have and work towards kind of optimizing those and trying to use those. For now, all 3 of them were in here. Yeah, I have 4 of these now. Yeah, you're going in the trade binder. I originally funny story, I'll end kind of on this. So when I first got back into the game, one of the first decks I picked up was Pendulum, and I was playing the same version of Pendulum that Nim Nim plays in Sealed Only, the one that plays all of the Guard Dragons and all that. So that should give you an idea of when I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! That was probably the second or third real deck that I picked up after getting back into competitive. I went to Michael's and I opened 2 packs of the new challengers from one of those resealed packs and pulled the Ulti Yazi out of it. And I had that Ulti Yazi for like 3 or 4 years before I finally sold it. I sold it, I think, like a few months ago finally, when, like I said, money was kind of tight. And I was a little sad because I really wanted to keep that Yazi, but money in my bank account means a lot more than shiny cardboard I'm not even actively using. But since I sold my Yazi, I had to pick up a new one, so I decided to pick up this one. Shout out to Ghost from the Past 2 reprint Yazi. Anyway, thanks for watching.
And now this.
The circle at 3.
Out of the OTS pack.
I'm gonna change
I think I
barrier.
just see it yet.
Link.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
I need that card, but I already ordered.
What card?
Heavenly Dragon Circle. I already ordered 3. I got 3 coming in the mail. So
Congratulations, you've got 4.
I've got 4. Perfect.
No, I got 10 again.